I had to think, you know, a reflection. I know it's a few days after Veterans Day, but I had to reflect on what it means to be a veteran for me, and this is a personal belief. You know, I've always felt bad. You know, I was definitely what I call a peacetime veteran with a little skirmish called the Gulf War in there. But my days, and I definitely wasn't a good sailor. You know, I did my job and I did it well, but I always bucked the system, and it caused me a lot of trouble. And I got into a little bit of trouble because I drank one time and didn't show up to work. But what it means for me to be a veteran, it means that I was willing to leave my family for 4 years and only see them once or twice. And one of the times was when my father died, and I had to go home on emergency leave. But more so, what it means is the family that it creates, the love of another man and woman who are basically your family, your brethren, so to speak. And your brethren is there to get your back, you know. And we as veterans understand that, you know, being able to sit in a room with 30 strangers with no racial hatred but one common goal, you know, and the common goal was to do our jobs, to get each other's back, to love each other as brother and sister, to do the things that it took to make a aircraft carrier run, flight operations happen, bringing home Marines and pilots home safely, and doing it without getting hurt. You know, working on a ship is like working in a big industrial city 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I mean, you just don't get a day off when you're out to sea, right? You stand watches, you do flight ops, you may be in helicopter rovings, there may be a fire on board. It's a fairly dangerous job. But with that being said, it wasn't war. You know, nobody was shooting at me. Nobody, you know, the true heroes are the vets that are out there getting shot at. Our firefighters who run into buildings, our cops. You know, if you look at what a lot of veterans do after they get out, they go into those services because they truly want to help. They truly want to feel that brotherhood. You know, I have a lot of disabled veterans that have worked for me at one time or another. And every Veterans Day, I've always said, I've always given them the day off with pay, and I've always told them, you know, hey, this is your day. This isn't, you know, anybody else's day but yours. And a lot of times it pissed off my other employees, but as I explained it to them, you know, the reason why you can be pissed off and leave this company and go to another company if you so choose is because of those guys who were willing to go downrange and lose a limb, get a bullet wound, lose a hand. You know, they didn't ask for anything special. Most veterans do not want you to treat them special. You know, I don't even, on Veterans Day, there's so many meals to be had for free. I do not go out on Veterans Day and take a free meal. What I do on Veterans Day is I go feed the veterans. I help the homeless veterans. I talk to the drug addicted veterans to try to make their lives just a little bit better. And that's how I like to spend my time with my brothers and sisters. You know, I live in the great state of Indiana right now, from St. Louis, Missouri. But I help my homeless brothers out. You know, we have a wonderful veterans homeless center here. I can go down and I can give clothing. I can sit there and talk with my fellow veterans about, you know, what made them homeless. You know, and truthfully, 99% of them have told me the drugs and the alcohol that they've consumed to try to forget, or the drugs and the alcohol that they've done that they've always done, even when they were in the service. But now that they were out, they had no controls over them, so they did it twice as much. You know, and my reflection on Veterans Day is, veterans are human. They are people that want to be loved, and they are people that are willing to give the ultimate sacrifice, the ultimate love, the ultimate passion. They are selfless in most cases because they have to take care of their brothers and sisters. They just can't go do things that they want. You know, they sign up for a time, and in that time it says that, you know, if they want you to work 16-20 hours a day, you work 16-20 hours a day. You know, if you don't have a work ethic, you go in front of the old man or the old lady and you have to explain why you didn't want to do your job. You can't just tell them because I didn't want to, because you could be spending jail time. And people go, why do veterans get a special day? Well, because they are the only ones in the United States that when they sign up, they take an oath of enlistment. And the oath of enlistment says, you will protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. Well, what they don't tell you on the flip side is you give up your constitutional rights when you join the military. And you fall under the UCMJ. And it's supposed to be fair. Sometimes it isn't, right? More fair than it was back in the past. You know, a commander just couldn't throw you to the wolves. So, you know, what it means to me is these are people that care about their country more than anything else. They care about their family, they care about their brethren, and they are willing to lose a limb for you. They are willing to lose their life for you. You know, sometimes the ones that are scarred the worst didn't lose anything. Emotionally, they've seen people that have died. Emotionally, they've seen things that have went wrong. But physically, they're fine. Mentally, they're gone. Now, I don't know any of the veterans that I know, and any of my brothers that from the Navy, that would not help a fellow veteran in a pinch. I can't think of anybody. I will tell you this: the love that veterans feel for each other is something that most civilians will never understand. You just you won't understand because you haven't been there. And my salute goes out to all the young kids and all the old men that have survived. And I want to tell you that I love my veterans, and I love this country and everything this country stands for. Peace out.